I'll be standing. I'm not losing to love no more. Next time I'll be winning. And if you lost to love, my friend, go back to the beginning. Hey, no more falling. I'm standing in love. Believe me when I say, oh, no more falling. I'm standing in love. Oh, look at those lips, swinging those hips. Look at them thighs, the sexy eyes. She might be poison, cause she kinda wild. Oh, you know you can't trust a big butt and a smile.
Yo. What's going on, good people? We are here today recording the episode of Colmon to Colmon. But we're going to be doing things a little bit different this time. I have a special guest here that's going to really be interviewing my wife and myself. I'm going to let her introduce herself before we get into this. As you know, I'm Shannon Coleman Sr., and I have my wife here.
Tameka Coleman. Mallory Coleman.
Tameka Mallory Coleman. And we're going to have our guest. Like I said, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Britney Brunosh, but I go by Brit. Very short.
Okay, Brit, we're ready for you. And I want you to come at us.
Yeah.
Ask those questions. Okay. Let's go, people.
I mean, I just wanted to start by saying, like, how did you guys wake up this morning? You know, how was that waking up today? Are you guys in a good?
Always in a good mood. Always honored to just be able to wake up. Like, I'm good. You good?
I'm all right.
Just all right?
Yeah, you know, you gotta be honest.
It's
you know?
a good day. It's sunny.
It is, but you know, sometimes you wake up on that side of the bed and you know, and just letting your day go. That's all.
So what you're saying is you woke up on that side of the bed?
Sometimes.
No, today.
Today, yeah, it's half and half. It was a middle ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. We'll roll you over to the other.
And then
maybe.
you roll over and you see your beautiful wife, and it's like, wow.
No, he rolled over and kicked me out the bed.
Not today.
Okay. Well, I wanted to do the questions based on themes.
Let me put that so we need to hear you. Go ahead.
I wanted to do the questions based on themes. So the first theme is, how did you know they were the one?
I'm gonna let you go first, babe.
We didn't. His dad told us that we was the one. We met young, or I was older than he is. We met young. We had a relationship and really wasn't thinking about marriage, but his dad was like, yo, y'all get married. So it was more or less like a shotgun wedding.
Is that how you thought?
I mean, don't you call me Mr. Shannon on this podcast. Anyhow, so like she said, we met young. I was 16. Meek was 19. They were the new girls on the block. And my brother and my cousin came to the house one day and they said, yo, we got some new girls around the way. Let's go around the way and go holler at, we're going to holler at them. So everybody called dibs on one of the sisters and the cousins and all of that stuff. Oh, yeah, that's how it was back then in the 90s. Mm-hmm. So I went around there. I wasn't really supposed to be with my wife, but, she always said I make stuff up. I used to have braids, individuals.
Okay.
So I said, who want to take my hair out? And she said, I'll do it.
That's the made up part. That's the part he made up in his mind. He was
like, whatever.
No.
And anyway, so she started taking my hair out or whatever, and we just started talking. And she was like the first girl that really didn't fall for my lines. So when I first told her that I loved her, she was like, I like you a lot.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
And she kept saying that for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And then eventually she finally told me she loved me. I wasn't the perfect boyfriend. I had a lot of stuff going on at the time. Mind you, I was 16. Then, one day I always tell this story. I prayed to God. I said, Lord, if she get pregnant, I'm going to marry her. And she got pregnant with Justice. And we was going to get married or whatever, but not as soon as my father said we were going to get married.
Yeah.
So when we moved to Georgia, my dad said, when y'all get married?
We was both like,
I don't know. So he pulled out the calendar and we said, we cast lots. we cast lots. And we landed on September 18th.
Mm-hmm. September 18th.
You remember things?
Yeah, September 18th. And my dad did the ceremony.
My dad was there.
Yeah.
My mom was mad. His mom was mad.
Yeah, my mom disowned me after that.
Mad.
Because they weren't there. We were in Georgia.
It was in Georgia.
And they were like, how you get married? Your father's. It was always our father's fault.
Mm-hmm. My sisters was angry.
Nobody was
There.
there. Only people that was there was
His grandma.
Javon. It's our oldest son. And Justice in her belly.
Mm-hmm.
So Justice went on my prom with us. And she was at the wedding. Because she was in the belly for both. But yeah, so we had my grandma. My grandma did a little small reception type thing. She cooked for us.
His cousin Tanya.
Yeah.
And his Uncle Terry. That was it.
Yeah. So, so to say when I realized she was the one, I knew she was the one when I was younger. Because like I said, she was the only female that really kind of challenged me. And then she broke up with me during our time together. And I'm like, you don't break up with me unless I let you break up with me.
Oh,
I was like, bye.
That was the kind of thing there. Because I would cause a breakup so that I was able to get back with the girl and be like, you broke up with me. I never broke up with you. But she was the one that said, nah, bruh, you're a mess. You don't. It's crazy.
And that really taught you.
Yeah, and it was like, wow, she's different. She's gonna be the one that I spend the rest of my life with.
Okay.
And then you went on vacation.
Well, we not talking about that.
Go ahead. I was gonna say for you, how would you see him as the one when you realized that?
I didn't. I knew that I wanted to be married. I knew that was a life that I wanted. I just did not know that life was with him. I knew that he was my friend. I knew that in the course of our relationship, we had built a friendship. I knew that I can rely on him. I knew that he would be there, not just for me, because at the time I had a son, and he would be there for my son. And it was. If I have to be honest, I have to say I think my son chose him, because anytime he got sick, my son got sick. Anytime my son felt better, he felt better. So my son kind of bonded with him before I did. And we met when my son was 2 months old. So he pretty much raised my son as his. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know that it was going to be him. I just knew that was the life that I wanted. And when it turned out to be him, it was like I married my best friend.
Best friend. Love that for you guys.
And then she hated me.
Oh.
But go ahead.
All right. So the next question is, what traditions from your family did you bring into your marriage? Like, for example, Christmas or holidays.
Well,
anything.
You want that one first?
I'm not big on Christmas.
It doesn't have to be Christmas.
Yeah,
it could be any tradition.
I don't know. I just my mom has always had all of her kids around her, so we've always been a family. Even though we had families, we've always been a family. So I try to do that with my own kids, just to have moments and things. I'm not a big cook. I don't like to cook, and but I will cook when I want to get everybody in the same house together. So that's just one of the things that we try to do. We do like Christmas and things like that, but not really traditional things that came from the family.
The traditions that I brought into our relationship. Are we talking about when we first got together or now?
It could be at any point.
I brought violence.
Daddy did?
Not as in the physical abuse, but my family is very loud, boisterous. opinionated. Yeah, my family split down the middle. So you have like Muslims and Christians and everything, on my dad and mom's side. So, I mean, my dad and my mom also, they were big on like family gatherings and different stuff like that. But the trauma from it kind of made me not want to be involved with it. So I'm still like that to this day. It doesn't move me, like birthdays, holidays, Father's Days, none of that. It really don't move me.
He's so bad that if he know we got to go somewhere for like let's say Thanksgiving to his mom's house, the moment he get up that morning, he got an attitude till we walk out the door till we get to his mom's house. It's not until he actually get there that he settles.
I'm an introvert.
He ain't no introvert.
Yes.
Are you?
Yeah.
He got introvert qualities, but he not no introvert.
I'm one that say I'm going to go to the party, and then the day of the party, I find an excuse not to go to the party.
He does. Or he go with an attitude. No one else would see the attitude. No one else will know. I know because I know him. From the moment he gets up that morning that he know he got to go out the door, he is
you going in and out.
A walking bag of emotions until I don't even say nothing to him. I just be like, get in the car, kids. Don't say nothing. just.
Sadly, that was passed down to my son behind the camera.
Mm-hmm.
He'll say it didn't, but he is that way.
Okay, so something that you brought up, Tameka, about your son from 2 months feeling sick, and then he was sick, and then just the in-tuneness. Do you think it is important to stay together for the children?
No.
Oh.
No.
Y'all said that in tune,
No.
too? Wow.
I think we do more damage to our children trying to make something work that's not there. If you accept a relationship for what it is, we're not working, but we can still be co-parents to our kids. We don't have to physically be in a relationship in order to be good parents to our kids. We do our kids
injustice,
a big injustice, trying to make things work, like they don't hear us arguing, or they don't feel the tension in the house, or they don't feel the emotional roller coaster that you and I are both on, that we just think that they're just happy and go lucky. That's no.
I agree.
Let's not stay together. Let's just call it quits, and you go your way, I go my way, and then we just do what we need to do for our kids.
Parent, be cordial, allow each other to live their life.
Is that something that you learned growing up? Or
I always felt that way.
I think I always felt
like,
that
is
way.
that your vision of what marriage was?
Well, marriage to me, growing up with my father, was supposed to be like, because I watched my dad. He was married to my mom. He was married to my stepmother. Then his final marriage. He's married 3 times. But he never really wanted to leave those marriages. As the women actually, went through the divorce process. Because my dad was, he was something different when he was younger. But for me, I always thought, like, man, I'm not going to have more than one wife. I thought that. So when we got married, it was like, that's what it's going to be. But if we were to split, it will always be my children are my children. I'm going to love them. I'm going to care for them. I'm going to be there for them, even if her and I aren't together. Mm-hmm. And that's just how I feel. They're my children. You know what I mean? I always tell Meek, they were mine before they were yours. And I believe that.
You believe that.
So I gave them to you so that you can carry them and nurture them and then birth them and give them back to me. That's my motto.
This is craziness.
So if we're not working, I'm going to still be there for them regardless. And I'm going to still be there for her. Like if even, as she talked about my vacation, although we weren't together in that time frame, I made sure that I was going to always take care of her and my kids because she's the mother of my children.
Okay.
And he did. He did.
All right. Well, you mentioned something about your dad having more than one wife. So do you believe that it's possible to be in love more than once? Not
I
just
do.
love someone.
I do.
In love.
I do.
Okay.
I do. I believe. I always.
Listen,
You want to go first? Go ahead.
I think that life is funny. You may think that you're going to love somebody for the rest of their life, but things happen and situations happen, and depending on that person or depending on you and how you handle certain things, some things are easy for people to let go, some things aren't. So sometimes it shifts a relationship. Do I think you can find love somewhere else? You can. You can. Do I think it changes the idea of marriage? No, I don't. I think it's simply based on a person's history, a person's way of self-healing themselves in order to be able to move forward into something new. I think everyone should be open to a newness and not be so held to a past that we can't change.
Okay.
Though I believe marriage is a biblical principle, and I believe in how Scripture defines marriage. I probably get in trouble for this, but a male and female, right? And they leave each other and they become two flesh. I mean, the two become one flesh, right? And you should be with that person. What God put together, let no man, separate. However, things happen in life, right? And if you read the Bible, it tells you, okay, if it's some sort of adultery or fornication, sexual sin or whatever, then the woman or man can split. With that being said, I believe that marriage should be a lifetime. Although I believe that, I also believe that you can love more than one person or be in love with more than one person. I think that even if you're not married and you're just in relationships, somebody might be in love with more than one person, because they might be in love with this thing from that person and this thing from that person, and truly love both of them equally because of what they bring to the table. I truly believe that.
You believe that?
I do. I truly believe that.
You believe that?
That was given multiple whys.
I used to subscribe to that. I did when I was younger. But I do. Again, going back to our separation or divorce. Yes. My entanglement. I was in love with my daughter's mother, and Meek knows that. Things were what they were at that point in time, and then things changed. That doesn't mean that I don't still love her, because she gave me something that I hold dear, which is my daughter. My children mean everything to me. I don't care where they come from. They mean everything to me. And the people that gave me my children, the two women that gave me my children, I'm going to always make sure, even if they hate me, I'm going to always make sure that, my babies are taken care of.
Okay, that's great. So to end this segment, just a segment of how did you know that they were the one? Do you believe in the idea of getting with a person with potential?
Yes.
Potential.
I do. Meaning, if you see something in somebody and they're growing to be the person that they want to be, then you can stick around. Now, if you see somebody with potential, but they ain't trying to move and they just stuck in one place, but they're not trying to better themselves, then I think you might want to say, listen, baby, boy or girl, once you get where you need to be, if I'm still here and I'm still available, then we can revisit this. But I don't think that we should stay in a relationship because of potential if the person is not moving towards their goal.
Do you think that changes with age?
I don't. Because there's some young boys that's out here that have potential and they're moving towards it. And there's some old men that have potential and always had potential, but they still stuck.
Yeah, I think every relationship has to grow. So you have to have a base. You have to have a baseline where you start off. And sometimes you're going to start off equally yoked, and sometimes you're going to start off, one may be elevated, one may be lagging. But if you have a support system, he's mine, I'm his. If there's certain things that I know that he has the potential to do, I'm going to push you in that. I'm not going to push you in such a way that's going to be demanding and seem like I'm nagging or whatever. I'm going to help you realize where you could be opposed to where you are. So in relationships, you have to grow. And if I'm like all about myself, well, I'm going to school and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that and I'm a better me and I'm a better you, I'm a better me, and whatever happens with you just happens, doesn't make sense to me. So if I'm going to elevate and I'm going to grow, I got to make sure he elevates and he grows, because we're doing this together. We're a partnership. So I may not do what he do. I'm not a psychologist. I can't do what he does, but I can help push you in the direction in which you need to go. Shannon, so if you do this and you take these classes, where would that lead you? And are you not doing it because of fear, or are you not doing it because it's not a path that you really want to take? So in that, he does the same for me. If you get with someone and you see that potential, and as he said, if that person just decides that I'm gonna just be lazy and not do anything, no, there's not a reason to stay together. But if you're working, and sometimes you have to understand that things may not always be as easy, and you have to know your partner well enough to know this, to say, it's a struggle, but I got you. I'm here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Tell me what you need so I can help you get through what you need to get through. For him, he needs to be in complete silence in the bedroom while he's working on his PhD that I would never call you doctor for.
Everybody don't need to know that.
You know what I mean? So he's in the room. So I have to give him that. My support for him is not to want to be in his face and have conversations. There's certain things that we want to talk about, but it can wait. He's studying right now, so let him go ahead and study. I'll go ahead downstairs. And, when he's writing his paper, I'm sitting downstairs until he's done, because I know he needs that space. And so it's a support system.
And also, this is putting the light on my wife. This is the first time in my life that I make more money than her. She made more money than me throughout our whole relationship. And this is the first time where it's like, I can truly take care of her as the man of the house, as the provider, as the protector, as the head of the house. And it feels good. It took me a minute to get there. But she saw that potential in me. She held on, even taking me back after, everything. And she said, I got you. And fear almost took me out a couple of times. And she didn't nag me like she said. She said, you going to get back up? You going to stay there? What you going to do? And
what's your next plan?
And I decided, you know what, I want something different, and I stuck to it, and it changed my life.
Okay, because I was gonna follow up with that by saying, did you ever feel like she was changing you?
Nah, not her.
Okay,
I wouldn't want to change him. Like, he is who he is, and a lot of who he is. There's parts of him I love. There's parts of him I want to strangle in the middle of the night. There's parts of him that is like, oh, yeah.
I woke up with a pillow over my face a couple times. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, he is who he is. And in order to accept him, I got to accept the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to him, just like he got to accept the good, the bad, and the ugly in me. There are definitely, some things that I will tell him, I really don't like that about you.
Yeah, honestly, our separation got us to this point. Mm-hmm. Mind you, we were together I was 16.
19 years.
She was 19. And when we separated, it was 19 years in. So we grew. We were children.
Literally.
And then we got... we went through what we went through, and then we grew in that time. Yeah. So now we are able to accept each other completely, and love each other completely.
I think something that's really important that you said, Tameka, was that pushing him and pushing him to his greatest potential wasn't necessarily changing him. It was just making it more.
And it was making him, to me, it was giving him the opportunity to be that.
Yeah.
And not feel like he had to be anything different. You don't have to be anything different for me. Be who you are, but be great at whatever you be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And don't, I'm here because he know if I'm not here, I'm not here. If I don't want to be here, I'm not going to be here. I'm here, and I'm riding with you. Be who you need to be in order to get to where you need to be so you can be happy, because when you're happy, I'm happy.
Okay. All right. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. The next segment is called Relationship Advice.
Ooh.
Relationship. Y'all don't want advice from me about no relationship.
Not for me.
Are you kidding me? How long you've been together? Some people can't even stay together for 6 months. Like 19, 31? How many years?
Well,
all total 31 years
31
minus his vacation.
Okay. Okay. The first question is a little spicy. Is arguing normal, and can it get toxic? How can arguing become toxic?
Oh.
You can have that. Because I don't argue. So
Arguing is a norm. Arguing is a normal part of relationships.
Is my nose running?
You on camera? Turn the camera. Arguing is a normal part of relationships. Yes. Arguing, I say there's good arguing and there's bad arguing, right? I always tell people, let's argue good. And this is new to us because it could get, back in the day when we were younger, it would get toxic. But as we grew and as I begin to learn new things, new tactics, and I begin to even know myself and my wife, arguing good means, yes, be assertive. Let people know how you feel. Talk about your emotions. Talk about what's going on, right? That's arguing good without the name calling and staying in the moment. Don't go back to 1982 when you're talking about something that happened in February 23,
Really?
right? Yeah. That's that's me. But you know what I mean? You get staying in that moment, right? This is why I'm angry. This is why I'm upset. This is how I feel. You know what I mean? Now, if you reference something that someone said it was supposed to change in something, of course you're going to go back and say, remember when we talked about this on such and such and such a date? Why are we still going through it? That makes me feel this way. So you're still in that moment and you're telling them why you're feeling the way that you're feeling without the name calling, without the violence, without, you be this, you best at this, you and that's bad arguing to me because now nobody hears anything. You're raising your voice. Your voice is elevated. My wife talks loud. And I always tell her all the time, yo, what you yelling for? I'm not yelling. I can't hear. I'm like, well, you need to go see a doctor. You know what I mean? And then she always says, it's not what I say. It's my demeanor, my tone. Like, I don't really raise my voice, but I guess I can be kind of aggressive. Firm. She calls it aggressive. And I'm like, I'm not being aggressive. This is just me getting my
you get that little dip in your forehead and your face all scrunched up.
I don't even notice that. But that's how. But when
you don't notice the muscles.
Nah, that's my resting face. So when I said I bring that into my relationship from my family because that's how my family express themselves, and they're not necessarily. Sometimes my family is sit in the room, literally, and be talking, and everybody think everybody about to fight or shoot each other, and they just having a real normal conversation. Mm-hmm. It's just normal.
It's just loud.
It's just loud, but it's normal, and that's how I grew up. So for me, I really like a quiet. I really do like a quiet home, and I really don't like raising my voice. And I get that. I guess I get that from my father because my father didn't really raise his voice, but he was really firm. but he didn't raise his voice to the point of screaming. And if he had to, I knew all hell was about to break loose.
But that's also because we got real, like, soft, firm voices. Like, our voices don't naturally get loud.
It doesn't need to. It doesn't need to. And when it does, it's like, okay, now you took me to a Super Saiyan, right? Because now I'm ready to just blow something up, right? But, you know, I think arguing is a part of a relationship. Short answer, yes.
Conversation is part of it.
Yeah, but arguing too. Like, everyone argues. Nobody can say that they live a life and they never disagree. They never argue.
But are disagreements arguing?
Yes, they can be.
They can, but they're not.
Argumentation and debate. So when we look at argument, what is our definition of an argument? Right? We argue daily. We argue every day. Now, if you're fighting or you're being aggressive, that's a different type of argument. But if we're disagreeing and we're both presenting our premises, right? We're both coming to and we're bringing validity to our conversation. That's an argument, right? But it's not an argument to where I'm trying to degrade you or pull you down or hurt you. I'm trying to argue my point so that you understand it, and maybe you would change or take something from it, or maybe not, but you understand where I stand and how I stand. Yeah. So we argue daily, every day.
Okay.
You don't agree with that?
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't, because I am a different type of being. I stopped engaging in arguments way back when, because I get so caught up in an argument that that the point of the argument is lost in the argument.
That's bad arguing.
So I learned how to listen when you go on your rant, because I tell him all the time, you argue like a girl. Like when he goes on his rants and he's feeling a certain type of way, I don't say anything. I can't say anything. I'm listening, because in my listening, I'm hearing what the issue is, so I can process what's going on. So when we can talk about it, then we'll go back and revisit it. I don't feel the need to have to go tit for tat, word for word, with everything he says. I value my relationship enough to know that, one, I got to listen, and in order to hear his point, and then be able to rebuttal, because he's the great debater, and he will have you debate until I have to say, is my name really Tameka? Because he's that good at debating. I don't debate. I'm not that kind of person.
It's argumentation and debate.
But I'm not. But I don't debate. So in that, I have to listen, and then I'll come back and revisit the conversation, and we have a conversation. It's less of an argument, because it's not an argument. You made your point. I'm coming to you with my point. Either you're going to hear me, I'm going to hear you. I hear what you said, but this is how I feel about that, and then we'll have that conversation. And it took him years to realize that that's where I am right now. He didn't just get the fact that she ain't say nothing, because he is the type of person, or was the type of person, that will argue and bring back stuff from before I was born. I wasn't even here. What are you talking about? I never did that.
That was
back
me.
In 1976.
Yes.
Remember when I was 6, and I was like, dude, what are you talking about? I didn't even know you then.
That was me.
That was him.
That was me, because I had to win. When I realized that arguments aren't to win, but to get your point across, things changed. Mm-hmm. And that took a lot from going to school. Right, I have my degree in psychology, so we had to take a philosophy class. We had to learn argumentation. We had to learn all of that stuff. I don't know why we had to do that for psychology, but we did. You know what I mean? And it made me realize that, you have to change the way that you do things. So I learned how to communicate, because I didn't. And I really realized when you do that to somebody or whatever, they don't hear anything. Your ear shut off. And all it is just a big old, it's just noise. Mm-hmm. So yes, I do believe in good arguing and bad arguing. And even with Meek walking away and getting herself together and realizing some things and then coming back, it's still argument to me. When you write your paper in school and you have to put your point across, right?
That face.
Yes, and what you have to say. I would argue that. I will argue this point. I argue, you know what I mean? So you're arguing your point, but you're not fighting. That's the difference. Arguing and fighting are two different things. When you're fighting, you're screaming, you're yelling, you're trying to put somebody down, you go back to, like she said, 1976. And you know what I mean? Like, what happened to you, and now you're bringing it into this relationship and so forth and so on. But that's fighting. But when you're arguing assertively, you're saying to someone, look, this is what I need. This is how I need it. Can you provide that for me or not? So that's the difference. That's where I see the differences.
All right. So going on with that, do you or have you created boundaries to protect your marriage?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. We have.
Yes. You have to.
You have to.
You have to have boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have boundaries in the marriage and outside of the marriage.
Mm-hmm.
My negotiables, my non-negotiables, and that's just a part of marriage. These are things that I think I could help or change about me. These are things that I'm not going to change about me. These are things that I'm going to stand firm on. These are things that I might allow to come into our relationship. These are things that definitely won't come into our home or relationship. So when you create those boundaries, and like she said, we created the boundary now where if one of us is feeling like really upset or angry, or we see a conversation about to go left.
Take some space.
Oh yeah, Shannon, I'm not. I know. Before I'll be like, "Who you shutting down? You ain't gonna shut me down. We gonna talk about this right now." Now I'll be like, you know what? I'm done. Go. Take your space. Boom. And now she might text me now, and I'm like, "Look, babe, bye. I gotta go. Love you. Bye, 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 bye." Then she might send me a crazy text message now.
Yeah. Yeah, I might. I might send a crazy. But it's
that's that 50.
There are certain things that in the heat of a moment I know I can't say, because then it elevates to a major argument, major aggressive, me wanting to punch you in the face and you wanting to hit me or grab me or whatever. You would never hit me. But just that type of environment. And I try to avoid that. So when I send the crazy text, it's not so much of a crazy text. It's just me pointing out my point in that, because you didn't hear, or you get so far gone in your own I'm right that you don't hear me. So when I send the crazy text is just this. This is what I was saying, X, Y, and Z. Don't want to argue. And I always started with, this is not an argument. I'm not taking anything from you. I'm not trying to disrupt your day, but this is what I needed to say. And leave it at that. I personally don't think that text messages is always the right
they don't come across right.
The right form of communication.
Yeah.
Because some things I can read from him, and it's like, he is in a bad mood, and he's like, no, I'm fine. What's up? And I was like, the tone of that text did not tell me that.
How can you read a tone of a text?
You can read the tone of a text.
There's no tone to a text.
Because I read the I read the tone in your voice.
There's no tone to a text message, cameraman.
Yes, there is.
Listen, there's
No,
a difference
ladies
between,
and gentlemen.
Listen, there's a difference between okay and K.
Uh-huh.
It all depends on the person's vocabulary and the time that they send a text message as well. Because sometimes you might give that thumbs up because you just say okay, you know what I mean, or it could be like okay. It's a different.
If you truly love someone and you know that's the person for you, you know when something's not right. No,
why are you talking over there with no microphone? Listen, the thing is this: texting can be misconstrued.
It can.
All the way through and through.
Can.
Because sometimes somebody might just give a shorthand because they might be in a meeting. They might be in a therapy session if you're a therapist. So you can't really give that, normal text. Like, say my wife called me, for instance, and I can't answer the phone because I'm literally in a session. I'm like, yo, what up? That's not me trying to brush you off. It's like, that's all I could do in that moment.
But see, depending on the time of day, that makes sense. I don't take those texts personally. It's the other text or the other text when you had just called me with an attitude about something,
Right.
and then you hang up and then you send me a text, and I'm reading that text in your voice, and it's like
you can't read it in my voice though, because in that moment I may have said, you know what, I'm gonna cut this conversation short because I'm getting angry or I'm getting frustrated, and once I get there, it's hard. So what I do, I cut it off, and then you might say something or whatever, or try to say something like, babe, no, not now, let it go, because she's a fixer, so she tries to fix everything, and I'm like, you can't fix it right now, just let it
be.
go. But she wants to try to fix it, and I'm like, you can't. And then I'll send something, I might say something or whatever, and then she'll come back. I'm like, it's over though, I'm done with that's gone, let that fly. But she's not over yet because she still wants to fix it. And I'm like, no, you can't.
There's nothing to fix.
It could be, but it won't. She can't fix it
in that moment.
Yeah. Well, even just period. Like, it's something that, like, say for instance, me and one of the boys are going through something, right? She's going to try to get in the middle. Yeah, like get in the middle of it instead of allowing things to work itself out and for us to come to our space to where we could communicate about it. And I'm like, babe, no, stop.
I'm like, Judge Judy, I need everybody in the room now.
If like the boys might rant to her, or I might rant to her, and then now she wants to try to put us. No, they're grown men.
Just let it be.
They're grown men.
Okay,
fine.
And then she'll say that I'm being mean or whatever, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm telling you that this is what it is. Now, back in the day, I might have been being mean. But now it's like, no, I'm telling you straight up, no, stop, let it go.
Okay.
Stop.
So, speaking of the text messages and the calls and all that stuff, how would you say changes in technology have impacted your relationship?
I don't know if it has.
Well, I used to hate technology.
Oh God.
I would not do nothing. Don't text to me. You better call and pick up the phone. I need to hear a voice. Now I'm texting all day. Don't be using my cards and mobile banking and none of that stuff. Now I'm a mobile banker. Like, I hated it. She used to always try to get me to use technology, and I wouldn't. And that was something I had to learn to. I had to come to a place of comfortability.
Yeah, we in that moment right now with that internet.
Yeah, because now she wants to change it. No, but technology, honestly, it did. It helped us. I think it did help our relationship a little bit because we can get to each other easier than before, right? Because back in the day when I was a jerk,
that's what you call it?
Oh yeah, I was a bastard. Excuse me. But yes. When I couldn't get her when I needed her, it was a problem. Like, I was a house husband for a while. Like, I stayed home with the kids while she worked.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, and when I needed her though, I couldn't get her, right? So it would make me angry because I suffered with a lot of anxiety and depression. And I would try to call her job and all of that stuff. And whatever. And it would be an argument. But now I could text her, right? I could give a text message or something like that. And
hey,
I need you to call me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it kind of helped our relationship, in my opinion.
I don't think it plays that big of a part because I'll just see you when I see you. I'll talk to you when I get there, or you know what I mean. I'll call you as soon as I can. Even back then, if I'm on my lunch break, I'll call you on my lunch break. You know what I mean? He's more, I need to say this right now. I'm like, oh, I'll tell you when I get home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's the difference in our relationship. That's that balance where he might be extreme on one thing and I'm just laid back and quiet on the
And
other.
I might
and
be
vice
extreme.
versa. So we kind of balance each other. And I'm like, it's cool, calm down. Like now he can text me and say, stop by the market and get something for dinner. It's like, dang.
Yeah, instead of coming home and,
And then
have to
having
go back out.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah.
there's more to that. There's more like tracking the location.
Well,
or
for
things
us,
that you
we-
post on social media.
For us, we all, everybody that's on our family plan, we all share locations. That's on our family plan. You're not on the family plan.
But I got his location.
Yeah, like she has both of the boys.
I got
location.
everybody's location.
I don't have their location.
They was hesitant. The boys did not want
I
to
don't
give me
want their
their
location.
I do.
They grown men. I don't want to know
But
where
so
they
what?
at, how they be, or whatever. Because they, I've learned with them in past, not now. So if they women hear this, I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about back in the day. I don't want to know because I don't want their girlfriends calling me talking about stuff. Do you know where? No, I don't, and I don't want to lie. So I'd rather just be like, no, because I don't know. Well, where's Miss Tameka? No, she sleep. Like, you know what I mean? That's my thing with that situation. But for me, it was before I wouldn't share my location with nobody. Nobody could touch my cell phone. Nobody could do anything. And it wasn't until our reconciliation where I don't care. I leave she know all my codes, all my passwords, everything. It don't matter to me. But back in that time, nobody could. And she used to say stuff like, because my youngest daughter, she always had my phone. And the kids and everybody would be like, Daddy let mine use his phone like that? Like, she just,
they weren't allowed to?
Nobody.
Oh.
Nobody could touch my phone or anything.
Not even your kids?
Nobody. And she kind of broke that mold, like, to where, like, she would just pick my phone up, snap pictures or whatever. Daddy, can I play the game? And they used to look like, what the heck? He done
So
got.
how did you entertain the kids when
They
didn't watch YouTube?
Well, back then it wasn't YouTube.
Yeah,
They had
yeah. You gotta think about. You gotta
Disney
think about
Channel.
it.
I don't know.
It was a different time back then.
I'm
Like electronics and stuff got as high tech as it is. We had like movie nights and
Yeah, we like.
Okay.
When they were little, we would watch like different stuff on TV. Have our anime nights and stuff like that. Yeah.
He said hot wings in a movie. Like,
Yeah,
Okay.
games and stuff like that. But with technology, what you were talking about is nobody could touch my technologies my technical device.
You couldn't lock stuff back then?
Well, you could, but
You had
it
a
wasn't as
A
much.
flip phone?
Yeah, it did have, but it did. But even when you got the smartphones, like I didn't want nobody touching my stuff. I would take my phones in the bathroom with me, everything. Now I'd be like,
Tuck it in the pillowcase?
I don't care. I ain't got nothing to hide. It don't matter to me.
So did you have something to hide before?
Probably.
Oh.
Probably. Probably.
Okay.
I told you I brought the bad traditions.
into the family. Mhm.
But go ahead. Next
Okay,
question.
so the last question in this segment is, how long do you think people should wait before having kids?
That's, to me, that's subjective.
That's based on the individual,
Yeah.
and where they are in their life,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
where they are in their relationship.
Yeah.
And don't just have kids to think
That you're going to keep a person.
that you're going to keep a person, because that doesn't keep anybody.
Well, it might not be really trapping. It's like, oh, he doesn't love me like I need, or she doesn't love me like I need her to, or whoever, and they think a baby's going to change that. That's not. A baby's going to actually,
Add more stress.
yes, yes. It's going to elevate it. It's going to escalate it. The relationship might get worse with the child because they're not ready for a child. So I think that people should know who they are before they decide to have a baby with somebody. I wanted a child when Meek got pregnant. That was my thing. They told me I would never have children. So when
I already had a kid.
right, when she got pregnant with Justice, with my oldest daughter, that changed my life. It actually helped me to start making better decisions with my life. So Justice really, she saved me from a life that I probably would have entered into if I didn't have her. Okay. So I think that's subjective and where a person is in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you didn't want to?
No, I agree with him. I agree with that.
That's not true. I'm still with the first person I had a child with.
Right, you did take vacation.
I'm still with the first person I had a child.
He did take vacation.
You said it's scientifically proven? I am not.
I need to do that research.
I need to do that. Yeah.
Ooh.
That's why I say I need to do that.
But that's not
research.
to say that you can't stay with the first person
Right.
that you ever had a baby with. Like it's again, it depends on the people and where they are in their life and where they are in their relationship. A baby changes things, so you can be, and that's why we see so many single moms and single dads or separated parents today, because the relationship changes once you have a baby. You're not just, who you are and who your partner is. There's a baby involved. That changes things. That changes the whole dynamic of your relationship. And if all parties is not on board for that change, of course, it's going to cause a breakdown in the relationship.
I don't know. I feel like your statement that you just said, I would 100% agree with it if it was about sex, like staying with the first person you had sex with. That's not.
Well,
only
that's very rare. That's very rare. Now, don't say it. I'm not going to say it can't happen, but it's very rare.
But once you have kids, it's like,
huh? Yes, some people do. Unless some people do, some people don't. But most time, the first person that you slept with, sadly, most times, not all the time, it might be down the middle. It might be a traumatic experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, young, dumb, and full of cum.
but kids, that's a whole other ball game. I don't know. Do you guys follow the Shade Room?
No, man.
No. Oh, because there was this woman on there who killed her baby because the man she got pregnant with didn't want to be with her.
That's sad.
That is sad.
That makes
It makes no sense.
It does.
Because a lot of women might get mad at this, but I don't believe in abortions. I believe that if you get someone pregnant, then you need to take care of that child. Because y'all, two consenting adults, not somebody that's raped, not somebody that's forced into it, but two people that consent to lay down with each other, either with protection or without, because it's not 100%, and that person get pregnant or those people get pregnant, then you need to figure out what you're going to do. And I believe that for brothers and sisters, you just sit down and have a conversation before you get with somebody in that way.
Yeah. How
How do you feel about babies? How do you feel about pregnancies? How do you feel about abortion or not abortion? Because if you're going to lay with somebody, you're going to have that conversation.
You know what the consequences could be.
Yes.
So my thing is that I hate to hear that mommy's baby, daddy's maybe. If it's a possibility that it's yours because you slept with this woman, it's yours until proven otherwise.
But if it's a possibility that woman was sleeping with 5 other dudes,
guess what? You better get a DNA test.
Right.
But again,
gotta go on Maury.
But see, that's why I always say this, and people say it's a double standard, because it is. It is a double standard. If a man sleep with 5 women, and he only sleeping with those 5 women, we know that all 5 of them kids is his, because those women aren't sleeping with nobody else. If a woman sleeps with 5 men, who's the father of that child if she gets pregnant? Exactly. That's why I say it's always a double. Men are givers, women are receivers, right? And I tell women all the time, you don't want everybody in your garden just planting seed, because you don't know what seed you might get.
Yeah, it might be.
So sis, stop just letting everybody come up in your garden and do what they want to do. And brothers, you don't want to be up in all kinds of
Different gardens.
It might be poison ivy up in that joint. You don't know. So we gotta be careful when we're dealing with that situation as well.
Yeah.
And I believe children are a gift from God and that they deserve to live. Period. Point blank. Even if you and the women can't be together, give me my child.
And even if you end up having a baby and you don't want the kid, there's always a family who can't have kids that want a kid. There's always someone out there that will raise that kid with nothing but love.
Yes.
Well, we don't have to kill babies. I hate to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people
baby
don't
was
believe that is murder. So
4 months. So.
Next.
All right. So we're on to our last segment, the random fireball. That's what I want to call it.
The random fire.
Random fireball.
All right. Let's go.
How can someone... Oh, what? What can someone do that would make them immediately unattractive, no matter how physically attractive they are? There's something they could do.
Just be a nasty person.
Farting. No, I'm just kidding.
You can be you again. Beauty's only skin deep.
Yes.
So you can be as beautiful as you want to be, but if your soul is nasty,
Yeah.
if your personality is nasty, if you just mean and just mean to people, you ugly.
Everybody says, yes, when people look at each other, a person, they see them first, their physical first, and they're attracted to that, right? May be true, may not be true, right? Because some people hold off until a person open their mouth. And something might come out that mouth, and you be like, yeah, oh my goodness, I don't care. What? And they be like, she cute. No, she ain't. She like, but I don't know. Again, that's subjective too.
Do you think it's different for men and women?
That's subjective too, because
Nope.
some women look at a man and they'll be like, yo, boy, you know what I mean? And some men will look at a woman and be like, yo, shorty, you know what I mean? And then somebody else might come and be like, what you see in that? Like, my beauty for a woman might be different. My physical attraction to a woman might be different from somebody else.
Like your type.
Yeah, so I might look at the eyes or the lips or the hands or the fingers or whatever. Somebody else might just be wanting to look at the butt or the breast or the whatever. So that might not mean nothing to me, but it might mean something to somebody else. So like my wife said, beauty is skin deep. It's about their intelligence, about how they deal with life, right? And for me, a beautiful woman is somebody that can nurture their children, right? Somebody that can take care of the family.
But how can you tell that before they have kids?
Communication. If you can't communicate with me about that, then I don't even, want to even deal with you. And guys always have this argument about a woman that have children, right? We don't know what the relationship between that woman and that child's father was, right? And if the father is an absent father, he's not there, and you watch how this woman deals with their child, then maybe you might find something that you might want to stick to. You know what I mean? Because like you said, you don't know until they have children. My wife had my oldest son when I met her, right? And I loved her relationship with my oldest son, and it was like, oh, I could have kids with this woman. You know what I mean? It didn't make me say, oh, I don't want to be with her because she already got a. But my family was like, she's a ready-made family. She already got a baby. What you want to be with her for? But it actually attracted me to her more.
The way that she treated.
Yeah, the way that she was with Jay. The way, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay, I can see myself, having a child with, building a family with her. So I tell God, don't just, neglect a woman because they have children. Watch how they treat the child, and watch how they deal with the father of that child as well.
Because that could give you a clue how they treat you and your kids.
If you want to wonder why, you're like, hold up. Now, if you there and you see that the dad is a jerk, then you're like, okay, maybe it was the dad. But if you see her just talking trash about the father to the children and this and that and that and this, hold on, now we get into something. You might talk about me like that. I can't do that. You know what I mean? So you kind of, that kind of helps in the relationship for real, for real.
Yeah.
But I just think that people need to take their time and learn a person before
they come in.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Is there anything you would leave your partner for? For example, if they had a major injury, they lost their legs, or they got a disease, and they're like,
we've been through everything that's on that list.
They forgot you. Like if he got severe amnesia and he did not know who you were.
We've been through almost everything on that list.
Exactly.
I grew up
You
with
lost your leg?
I grew up with a rare blood disorder. When I was 13, I lost the use of my legs for a year. I met my wife again when I was 16. I was in and out of the hospital like our whole life. So she was there with me. She would come to the hospitals to visit me, all of that stuff. I
would go to work, come home, feed the kids, drop the kids off at my mom's house or his mom's house, and ride down to the hospital to sit with him and take him something to eat. So, yeah, we've been there.
She sat in emergency rooms with me at CHOP, like literally. So, I had 3 blood clots on my head, my brain, when we lived in Georgia.
The year we got married.
I was 19.
Months after we got married.
Yeah, a couple months after we got married. And my daughter was just born. And she was by my side like the whole time, even when my foolish self got on the airplane to come back home with 3 blood clots on my head.
Right. I had him hanging on one shoulder. I had a baby on my
in
back
and a baby in the car
on my
seat.
leg.
Yeah, she had Justin in the seat. She had the Javon holding on and had me holding on because I couldn't see. I couldn't see in front of me.
Wow.
I couldn't see anything.
Wow.
And she took care of me. So yeah. So I can't. Yeah.
There's nothing.
Yeah, I mean, we've been through so much.
If you love somebody, you love them through their good and their bad. You love them through their ups and their downs. To death do you part. I love them.
That's what it is.
You know what I mean? So for me for anyone to say, "Oh, now that you're in one of the toughest spots of your life, I can't be here for you no more."
So do you think that's like selfish or vain?
I believe it's selfish, but sometimes people have to have that because some people can't deal with it.
Some people can't.
I wouldn't judge a person that couldn't stay in a relationship because their mate went through something like that, because it's all about their mental.
And
I just
not built for it.
Right.
One can't. I don't know what made me be able to handle it. I don't know what made me. You know what I mean? Who I am that I can do that and still maintain my own individuality in all of that. You know what I mean? So I can't say that, oh, this person is selfish or this person is that, because you never know where they are mentally and if they can actually handle something like that. I just couldn't see myself at his worst moment saying, you know what?
Yeah, even when in 2000 I started getting 16, 17, I started getting these ulcers on my legs. And she was there. Like I had to like get surgery. I had to get 5 stents put in me in 2018.
While he was on vacation.
And you're right. And she was when I would end up going back home or whatever. She was there for me. Like she was like, "All right, I got you." And I was on my back. I didn't know how I was going to do anything. I lost my job. I was struggling. I was homeless. You know what I'm saying? It was everything. Everything hit me at one time. And I had to get these surgeries. Social Security cut me off, like everything. And this woman took care of me. And in 2020, after we reconciled and we got remarried in 2019, everything changed. I got blessed with a job. I got blessed with another job that doubled the amount of money I was making. Like, everything just started happening. I was like, thank you, Lord. Because I made God a promise. I said, if you reconcile my family and you heal my body, I'm going to work for you. And I'm going to speak your name regardless of whatever I do. I'm not going to turn from you.
Yeah.
And ever since then, blessings have just been flowing.
Do you think that her being there for you in that moment made you fall deeper in love, or was it just always?
I fell deeper in love with my wife after the crisis of my, as she say, vacation.
There's a lot of names for this vacation.
Yeah, entanglement.
I call it his vacation.
Crisis.
Yeah, it was a crisis. The best thing that came out of that relationship was my daughter. And, she was there for me, and she loves my daughter as if she was me. She loves my daughter like she loves me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a plus for
that
me.
made you feel like.
Oh, yeah. Because some people will take you back, but they can't accept a child. And she accepts my daughter as one of ours.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't look at her differently from the rest of the kids.
Okay.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's my being.
Okay, girl, I see you. I see you. Okay,
That's my
last two
being.
questions. Last two. First thing. So I know I'm not gonna call you Mr. Shannon. I'm gonna call you Shannon.
Yes,
I'm not
thank
gonna
you.
Call you that.
Thank you. Even though you
this
just
moment.
did, but go ahead.
I know a lot of times that I've met you in person, and you're like, my wife is old. My wife is old.
She is.
She's not old.
I'm
Okay,
old.
she's
I'm
50.
older.
She's not.
She's 50.
She's older.
Okay.
She's not
Older.
old.
She's older than me.
So how do you guys keep it like spicy in your relationship, in your quote unquote old age?
Do we?
Is it boring? Is
do.
it boring now?
No.
Is there spice?
Is it boring?
No.
I was
I'm
gonna
just
say,
saying.
Are you up to the boring
Somebody
stage?
might get the-
No,
Smother.
it's not boring stage, but the thing is, we have a lot on our plate. But when we come together, we come together. But there's a lot on our plate now, like with school, with work, with ministry. So we have to we're working on how to balance our lives in our older age, because when we were younger, it was different, right?
Mhm.
But now we have so many other things on our plate that we probably should have took care of when we were younger. Young people, y'all better take care of y'all business. It ain't just all about sex and spending money. Take care of it so when y'all get our age, then it can just be about sex and spending money. But we're at a point in our life like we still enjoy each other
Mhm.
always. You know what I mean? But we also have to make sure we do what we need to do because we're trying to build a legacy.
So there's a different like work home
Yeah.
balance
Yeah.
now that you're older and
Yeah.
have more responsibility.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It ain't like she cooking and I'm just gonna run up in the kitchen and be like back in the day, you know.
What?
You know how what we used to do.
Uh,
Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind.
Oh,
Don't-
in the kitchen?
Edit
Oh.
that out.
No.
Oh,
No.
she was cooking. The stove was on.
He makes me
Hot in
sick.
there.
He makes me. We
Oh,
still,
that ain't never happened.
we still have conversation.
Con-
Our relationship is what keeps. We don't take anything so seriously that it disrupts our the peace of our home. So he walked by me all day, old, calling me old. You know what I mean? Like we was just joking yesterday. He was trying to push me around, and I'm like, dude, I must have got fat because you were struggling. Like this is
Don't be telling
Maybe
nobody.
he's old. He's the old one.
He's old,
Okay,
right.
He's the old one.
But
He's old.
but
But we joke about everything.
Yes.
We laugh. We there's still laughter in our relationship. We
Yeah.
laugh. We have fun in our conversation. We have fun in our household. So it's like that's what keeps us.
The spark.
Yeah,
her,
like
her love language is touch.
he's not a hugger.
She wants
make 'em hug me.
hugs, kisses, and so forth and so on like that, right? So my love language is
Get off me, leave me alone.
my love language is words of affirmation, right? However, of course, I'm gonna walk by and smack the butt, you know what I mean, or whatever like that. And then sometimes I walk up to her because I know that that's what she wants, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kiss her on the neck or whatever like that, because that's stuff that she's. First of all, that's what she used to, because when we were younger, that's all we did, right? We were up under each other 24/7. me and this woman would be together from noon, and then I would go home, call her, stay on the phone with her all night to the next morning.
Then you back
And
up.
then
And wake
back
up
at the
and
house.
say, "Hey,
I'm on my way over.
I love you, I love you. So I'm about to jump in the shower. I'll be around there around 12:00. Okay, all day, all day. We were up under each other, laying on each other. And I know she loves when I rub her hair. Like, I know the things my wife like, and sometimes I'll withhold those things
Oh,
on purpose.
withhold.
Yeah. Like sometimes he'll be in the kitchen. I'll be like, give me a hug. No. Give me a hug. No. So I got to block him in the kitchen and make him hug me. Or I just like lay on him and hug him and then he like take his arms. He's
on purpose. But, but when I do it, I know that those are things that she loves to do. She loves. So, yeah. But I think that keeps the relationship.
Because
That's like your secret sauce.
Yeah,
Like, that's
it's
what
a
keeps
happy
you-
medium. I would love hugs all day, every day. He won't give me hugs all day, every day. I know he don't like hugs all day, every day. So I don't force him to hug me all day, every day. Some days when I really need it,
I need this. Okay.
just give me a hug.
Do you do the same thing with like his words of affirmation? Like you're like, I'm gonna not tell you that you're handsome today or something.
No, I just stare at him. I just stare at him. He like, what you looking at him? I can't look at you.
Next.
Yeah, the last question I was gonna ask was, how would you? What do you feel is the secret to making a marriage work for a lifetime? That's the last question.
Communication. That's the secret. If you're not communicating, then it's not going to last.
And that's communication in everything. The good stuff, the bad stuff, the stuff that's bothering you, the stuff that makes you happy is communication is in everything.
So how do you make that like
When you're
action? Instead of just
just
talking at each other.
No, that's the thing. Communication is listening. Like my wife said, I listen. So sometimes you just have to listen so that you can hear. Don't just hear or listen to respond, right? Because that's what some people do. They're just ready to respond. Learn. Listen to it. Learn from what it is that's going on, right? Active listening. Look at the body language. Look at the person. See where they are, and communicate your truths. But you can communicate your truths in a healthy way. You don't have to be, like I said, that aggressive person. You have to be assertive, yes, but you have to hear. So then it can either change or be able to tell them, well, this is why I do what I do,
You
or
also
how I
gotta
do
be
it.
able, and I'm no expert, but you also got to be able to compromise. He can't have everything his way. I can't have everything my way. We have to have, certain things. Again, goes back to boundaries and arguments. Is there's certain things that he won't budge on. There's certain things I won't budge on. If it's something I really want, we're gonna have that conversation, and I'm gonna have to see his point and make the adjustment on my end, or vice versa. We have to be able to compromise on certain things, because in our past, he felt like he was compromising on everything, and I was getting everything that I wanted, which caused an issue, which caused a breakdown in the relationship, because he felt like his voice wasn't heard. So now that we are at this place where, if I say, babe, we need a new carpet cleaner. If he say, no, we don't need it right now. Why don't we need it right now? We'll have that conversation. Well, you got one downstairs. You just want a new one because you don't want to use that one downstairs no more, or whatever. And then I'll say, well, the one downstairs is having some issues. It either needs to buy more parts, but by the time we buy the parts, we need to get a new carpet cleaner. So we compromise on certain things where he can give when I need him to give, and vice versa. Everything is not always my way. Everything is not always his way.
Yeah, and that comes from growth as well, and that's why I'm really like adamant on talk before you get in a relationship with somebody. Like you said, these are great questions to literally sit down with the person, your mate, somebody you're going to be in a relationship with, and ask these questions, because you want to know what are you bringing into our relationship.
But it has to be natural too. It can't just
Definitely.
be like an interview.
Man, I'm
like
going
first date.
What we going
What do you
to
feel about kids?
why not? We sitting there eating our pasta. You ever watch Lady and Tramp? How you feel about kids? You like literally, why not? Why not? We could talk about anything else. Guys sit down with a girl, talk about some girl, you look good in that dress. First day they met. You know what I mean? What color panties you got on? Like we can ask those questions, but we can't say, how your mom and dad solve arguments?
On the first day?
Why not?
You gotta see if they're
You're learning the person.
yeah.
But
you
it's so
gotta
but
see
it's
if
okay
they're,
to
like
but,
worth those questions.
but again, how would you know if you don't ask?
You don't feel asked? Okay. All right.
Because you could be 20 dates in,
And never know the answers to those questions.
and now you 6 months in,
With a baby on the way, and you have none of those.
and you don't know nothing about this person.
Oh, the
none of the
Baby's
real things that
And it can happen 6 months in.
who?
Yeah,
it can.
trust me, it can happen. And now y'all both sitting there looking dumb, but it was fun.
And I don't even know how your mom's name.
Right.
I don't know, but it was fun. I don't even know if your family got mental health issues. Now I got this thing growing up beside me. Come out here and be all crazy. Gotta come to my office and I gotta do some family therapy session because you don't know. You don't know. So
And
why
there's
not?
a way to ease into those conversations without it feeling like an
Yeah.
interview. You know what I mean? You know, we ask people in the beginning, and I wouldn't know because I haven't been in those situations in over 31 years. But when you have those conversations and you say, "So tell me about yourself," you're asking those questions.
Right. You're
Dig a
asking.
little deeper.
When I met her, what's your favorite color?
Green.
Like I asked her these questions. What type of music do you like? You know,
But
different
are
things
those
like that.
deep questions though?
It doesn't matter. A question is a question.
Yeah, I feel like you're allowed to ask
Why
a
is it deep? Just want to know what's your family like.
That's deep.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I think that's. I want to know. Are y'all murderers?
But do you
Is
wanna-
cousin Buki on the run?
But do
Like-
you want to know? Do you want to know the deep questions, or do you want to know the superficial
Yes.
questions? So, is it a fear to not ask those questions on the first date because you don't want to scare people off, or is it, or is it that we just don't want to know until we have to know?
I feel like it's the second part, like the intention behind the first date. Like if you're just going thinking, okay, it's gonna be a fun little
Outing.
outing.
So maybe not the first date, but when y'all up in that thing how about this? Before y'all lay down
before you lay down, you should know.
Also depends on what you're looking for because you
in a relationship,
with somebody and you're just looking to have fun, or you could go on a date with
right?
somebody and you're looking to
Right.
be together. But if you're going into it with you looking to be together with somebody, you have to be comfortable having those uncomfortable
Yeah.
And I believe at a certain age, if you're out there dating, I guess you're looking you're looking for something. Now in this generation, different.
Definitely is.
This generation, guys look at what they see body wise, and females look at what they see materialistic wise. So it's like that's why girls out here getting their bodies done, and guys out here getting jewelry.
I hear you. I mean, that's been all around. But what I'm saying is, a lot of this generation aren't looking to get into a relationship like marriage or anything like that. It's more so I'm just out here having fun. And I hate hearing that. I hate hearing people say, live your best life, girl.
Hot girl
You better do this, girl. So you're saying it's okay. Excuse me. For men and women, I don't think I'm just talking about women. It's okay to be a hoe until you're ready to settle down and get into a relationship, right? But I know that's hard. That's harsh. But it's like, come on. You're giving yourself to all of these people, if you are, right? And now you're allowing, like I said, all these people to play in your garden, or you're playing in so many people's garden. Then where do you end up at in the long run? Because now you're bringing all that trauma into a relationship that you're trying to build with somebody.
Okay. I can agree with you.
And it's like, what do you do then? Now you got to try to get all that trauma, all those what I call spirits off of you, and then say, okay, now let's build. when you could have did all of that. I don't think there's anything wrong with going out and having dinner with somebody, talking to somebody, going to a movie with somebody. What I think is like, come on, what are we talking about when you're too young to settle down? Because people talk about 18 too young to settle down, 19 too young to settle down, 22 young to settle down. What are you looking for? What are you looking for? Why is that too young to settle down? I met my wife at 16. We got married when I was 18. We lasted all the way up till I was 35. 35, I had an affair. I committed adultery. I had a baby. I did all of that. But all in the middle of the relationship with my daughter mother, it was like, I'm not looking for a girlfriend-boyfriend relationship. I'm not doing that. I did that already. I did that at 16. I did that at 17. I did that at 18. I did that at 19. You know what I'm saying? I was young. Me and my wife went through the teenage stuff. When you're a grown person, you're not trying to go through that teenage stuff. And most time when you get in a relationship in your older age, you're still working through your teenage stuff because you don't know how to share a relationship with the person if you never really shared a relationship with the person. Because you're still selfish. So now you got to learn how to be a mate and learn how to be in a relationship. And I didn't want to, I'm too old for that. If I'm going to go through all that, I might as well stay with my wife.
What?
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just real. So when we talk about that, it's like, I believe when you're dating someone, you should be building into a relationship with that person. Because again, they know your ins and your outs, your good and your bad. And like my wife, they should be the person that you confide in. They should be your best friend. Not saying it shouldn't be somebody else you could call up on the phone and bust it up with, which they shouldn't know everything that's going on in your house. You know what I mean? And you shouldn't take advice from everybody either. Like my brother's cousins, whoever called me, talk about, I ain't trying to hear that, bro. That's y'all. That's what y'all do. That's how y'all do it. You know what I mean? But this is how I flow. You should know that. I just feel like relationships or dating should be leading to relationship. Not just so I could say, oh, I don't like him. I've been with him for 2 years, but he stink when he take a poop. So do you. But what?
He can stink more.
Okay, so that's a reason to break up.
No, I don't think it's a reason.
You know what I mean? He don't put the taller seat down. You don't put the taller seat up.
Why?
Why should I have to put it down? You know what I mean? I'm just being facetious because I believe that the taller seat and the lid should go down after you use the bathroom, before you flush the toilet. Because
but it's not worth breaking up with somebody.
Of course not.
You think there's people like they break up too easily?
Over foolish stuff. And you're not going to find everything that you want in a person. There are going to be things that you're going to be like, you know what? I have to like compromise with. Like my wife said, everything is not going to be 100. Like he got to have a beard. He got to have a 6-pack. Oh, he better have a 12-pack. Got to have muscles. Oh, she got to have light eyes. She got to have this, you know, her butt got to be this big. No, you're not going to find all of that in a person. So what are you truly looking for in somebody you can build a legacy with? That's what you should be looking for.
But how did you know that at 16?
I didn't.
You didn't. We didn't.
I didn't.
But you said you stayed together for 19 years.
Because we grew together. We grew together.
We fought together. We grew.
Yeah, like we
learned together. Like you're gonna stick together.
Yeah, like I
some people are like, I'm not mature enough to settle with one person.
And that's the thing. So maturity again is
nothing to do with age.
It all depends on where you are in your life. I went through a lot at a young age. I lived as an adult at a young age. Like we were doing adult stuff when I was growing up. So when I met her, I was already out there. You know what I mean? But I knew that I wanted a family. And I knew that she would be able to give it to me. And she did.
Yeah.
So we grew. Did I make mistakes growing because we were children? Yeah, I made a lot of mistakes.
We made mistakes.
However, we learned from them and we bettered ourselves as we grew. A lot of people, they say, when you 35 or 25, 35, you know, that, first of all, your life is almost over. You know what I mean? You having babies at 35, and then most people do, you know, but by the time that baby turn 18, 20, what are you? You know what I mean? And I don't say it's nothing wrong with having a child at 35, but a lot of these old heads that's having these babies at 35, they baby coming up in there with all kind of problems. All right, I'm gonna stop. But it's like we gotta be careful at that too. Learn who you are, know who you are, build with whoever you want to build with, but make sure that that's the person that you can go through hell and high water with.
Yep.
That's it. If you're gonna fight, like I said, fight good. You want to love hard. You know what I mean? And understand that everybody is not going to agree with your relationship, but you have to know what it is that you want.
Yep.
Well, okay.
She gonna tap me because I'm talking about these old babies with these.
That-
Okay,
that-
I'm sorry, but baby, you know these. Okay, I'm sorry. Old souls. I got an old baby. That's my bulldog.
You have an old baby?
Meaning that I had a baby in my old years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's really what it is. Shannon, you gonna have any more kids?
Oh?
You want kids, Brittany?
That's a loaded question. I never wanted to give birth. I wanted kids. I just never wanted to give birth. The idea of giving birth to me, hated it ever since I was little. So I don't know. I feel like if I meet somebody that I'm like, I want to have his kids, then I'll be like, boom. But right now I'm like, I'm fine adopting.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
You want to have more kids, babe?
No. Let me say that again. No.
Not even
My
like
baby days is over.
adopting.
I have grandkids.
Oh, you're right.
They're my babies.
You're right.
Yeah, and don't be bringing home like 20 grandkids.
I'm going to love them all the same, but you're taking them back with you.
But yes, this was a great conversation. Trigger warning.
So, was there a point in time where, you know, you guys fell out of love and had to learn how to love again?
When you went on vacation.
Have we ever? But I didn't fall out of love with you.
You kind of did.
I
So
did
wait,
not
you were
fall
able-
out of love with you.
You were able to be in love because we asked that before. In love with someone, more than one person, but at the same time,
Yes.
Was.
you could do it at the same time.
Yes.
There were certain aspects of me and certain aspects of his daughter's mom that he he wished he could combine into one person, or that he can have both. That's not me. So yeah, it's definitely possible.
See, I don't think you can love two people. I think you can love something about them,
How can you?
but you can't technically be
In love.
That's not
with two
true.
people. This is not The Bachelor. Like it's not.
It's
The
not
Bachelor.
true. It's not. I'm telling you from experience. You can be in love with two people
At the
at
same
the
time?
same time. Like you literally can't. I've known people, and I've been in that situation. Like you don't want to be without either one. Would you have to choose? Yes, but you don't want to be without either one. Is it sick? Maybe, but it's true.
I feel like that exists in places where having multiple wives is okay. Maybe.
Well, America, you used to be able to have multiple wives, but it changed.
Thank God for that.
I could never.
Yeah.
A sister wife? No.
Sister girlfriend, cousin girlfriend.
I don't even think I would want to have multiple
stepsister girl,
husbands. That's
stepsister
enough.
girlfriend. And it's women out here that want that's
Multiple
in love with two men.
How?
I,
There's always. I feel like there's always going to be one of them that's better.
that's not necessarily true. One of them might be better in something that the other one's not. And then the other one might be better in that area that you're missing. Again, like she said, if you could combine those two people that you're in love with to make one person, bow, you good. But you can't.
But that's not being in love with them. That's being in love with
What they have to offer.
What is that? What is that but being in love with somebody?
Okay, so then wait.
So
Yeah.
why did
You ain't on the mic. You can't nobody hear your question.
There's a mic right there.
camera through my camera? So what made you fall in love with Tameka? Sorry, because you're on camera. Tameka. And what made you fall in love with the other one?
When I fell in love with mommy, again,
What made you fall in love?
I'm
Not
telling you, what made me fall in love with mommy was seeing the type of person. Mommy's a nurturer, and she's always been. Mommy was always there for me. I could talk to her and give her everything about me. I didn't have to hold back nothing about who I was and how I was with mommy.
So what about the other person?
But if she wasn't a nurturer, would you still love her?
I don't know, because that wasn't the case.
But everything else that she has, let's say you just eliminate the nurture part.
Like I said, I can't answer that because because that's what made me fall in love, and then I started loving everything else about her. So I can't answer that question. That's a what if. I mean, what if? I don't know. All I know is when I met her, it was something about her that she captured my heart, and I didn't want to be without her. That was me. So I don't know. I can't say that if she wasn't that person in that moment in time when I needed her to be, how things would have been. I don't know. I saw.
Okay, but like the other person.
What made me fall for the other person? Well, I was an adult, right? And there were certain things that I was looking for that my wife at the time couldn't offer at the time. And she was able to do that for me. And it was like Meek was my teenage all the way up to about 35-year-old person. Like, she's all I knew. We were there. No matter what, we were always connected. And it was things that I was looking for at this next stage of my life, people say midlife crisis, that she was able to give me. And she actually helped to push me in areas that Meek couldn't push me in because she was a nurturer. And she wanted to take care of everything. I didn't have to do anything. She took care of it all. I didn't have to do anything. Right?
So
but
this person made you feel
she
like,
made me be this, or made me do this, or made me do that, or made me. And I love her for that. Because if not, I would not have ever been, I don't know if I would be who I am today without the both of them. I give them both credit for creating this man that you see here today. Because I don't know if I would be as confident as I am today without having gone through what I went through with my daughter-in-law.
So basically, what you was looking for in your daughter's mom, she helped you pull that out of you. But what you were really looking for lied inside of yourself.
Definitely. Because again, at 16, always in the hospital.
there was somebody there to
My wife was there. Couldn't walk. Couldn't do this. Couldn't do that. She took care of everything. Bipolar moments, depression, anxiety. She was there. She took care of it. I can lean on her to take care of everything. And then there was a point in my life where I wanted to do certain things and I was asking her to do it and she wasn't able to do it. Then this woman came in and she was able to do it, but she didn't even do it for me either. She made me do it for myself. And I learned. It was like I was learning how to be a man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, okay, boom, 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 boom. And that's what I was saying. I didn't want to go back to that teenage stuff. Once that door was open, that communication was open and that learning, and I started learning, it was like, oh, I'm not going back to that. All that arguing, fussing, and fighting and all of that crap. No, I'm not doing that. You know? And then I looked at it and I said, you know what? I got to do something for my children. I got to show them that it's okay. Right? And I look at the youngest and all the way to the oldest. And that's why I decided to go back to school. That's why I decided to build a legacy or create a legacy. Because I didn't know how at first. But then I learned. I watched. I grew. And that time, both of us grew as people. Because she knew, now she don't just do everything for me no more. Like, get up off your black behind and do it yourself. And I'd be like, oh, for real? That's how you talking to me today? Like, but it's okay.
You got 2 feet.
Right. It's okay. Because we had to learn that. Because she was always my fallback. Like, babe, I need you to go do this, or I need you to do that, or I need you to do this. And she would say, okay. Now she like, please.
His vacation gave me the liberty to grow.
We both grew.
Where before he went on vacation, we were just that. We were Meek and Shannon. What Shannon needed, Tameka took care of. It gave me the opportunity to step back and say, you know what? It's okay to tell him to go ahead and do this self. It's okay to let him know, no, you can do it because I'm busy. I had given so much of me to him that I lost me. And it gave me the opportunity to relearn
Exactly.
and regrow for myself. So now when I say I take my time, this is me. The old Tameka, if you looking for her when you came back, I used to tell them all the time.
She ain't here.
Married. We put a whole obituary in the paper about her. She gone. You know what I mean? Because you can't get that back.
Yeah.
But this is me today.
And I love it. I
So
love it.
you have to either learn and love me now because I'm not her. Mind you, some of her qualities are still here, but the majority of her is gone.
Yeah.
This is a whole new Tameka. This is a whole new me. What I do for me and what I do for my children and what I do for my husband is totally different than what I used to.
Yeah.
Do you think that this Tameka now would have never came if this didn't happen?
I do. I
I
think I
same.
would have been stuck in that same cycle.
For the whole.
I do too.
Mhm.
Because she watched me almost die several times. So that's why she was the way that she was.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, I almost died several times, and she was by my side, making sure that I was taken care of.
Yeah.
So that's her. She was protecting me. You know what I mean? Because that's what mama bears do, right? They protect.
Did you just call me a bear?
Yeah, mama bear. That's what they do. They protect. Okay, lioness, either one, queen of the jungle. But it's, yeah. But that's what they do. They protect, right? They feed. You know what I mean? If you're looking at the lioness, they hunt. They make sure that things are taken care of. And when I was sick and down, that's what she did.
Yeah.
She took care of everything. And it was like, wow, I had to learn. I literally went from mama house to marriage.
Oh, that's going to go my next question. All right, that's my last question.
Yeah, because we supposed to be off of here.
So, do y'all think that being together for so long at a young age kind of hindered and prolonged y'all in finding who you guys truly were as individuals?
Yeah.
I don't think that it hindered us from knowing who we are. I think that we created the people that we wanted to be because that's the way that we were brought up. But I think that we learned how to be adults because we thought we were grown. We thought we were adults. We were doing adult things, but we learned how to truly adult when we went through our split because we were all we knew.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was like
we were inseparable. When
Yeah.
you saw him, you saw me.
Again, every single day from 16 to 35. It was
growing up together.
We grew up together. You know what I mean? And my thing is, they say the grass ain't green on the other side. Sometimes it's artificial turf. And that's what happened. You know what I mean? With me, it was like, okay, this meat took me or carried me as far as she could. Now I need to get over this hump and do this. And this is the person that can help carry me over. Not realizing that wasn't the case. I had to learn how to be that, like my son said, for myself. And now that I got it, can't nobody take it away from me. My confidence in who I am today is as far as outweigh what I was back then when I was younger because of my sickness. My identity was wrapped up in my wife. Now I know who I am. She adds to me, but she can't make me happy. All she can do is add to my happiness.
I just said that to you in the car.
Yeah.
So that's where we are today. If you're looking for somebody that's going to make you happy, then you might as well just go ahead and just end the relationship. Because you got to find that within
Happiness
you first.
in yourself, and then somebody could add.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So
if y'all had something to say to, someone or people in a relationship that's going through the same things that you guys went through, what would you say to them to help and to, not therapy?
what you mean, like, was the adultery or the cheating or what?
Not just in relationship, a long-term relationship alone, keeping that, love alive and
Just talk. One thing me and mommy did when we went through a lot of what we went through, we stopped talking. Mommy was and was say it better than me. She got to a point where she said she got comfortable, and you can't. You got to keep, like you said, keep the relationship spicy.
It can't be boring. What are we doing?
Exactly. So, and then she always she told me, she said, I just knew my position was my position, and nobody could ever take that from me. So when things happened and our life got turned upside down, it was like, whoa, let us reevaluate where we are.
I would say to your question, Shannon, you got to be patient. You got to communicate. You got to be patient, communicate, and be willing to compromise. Not compromise all of who you are, but be compromised situational things in your life in order for you to be able to get past one. A relationship cannot be giver, and a taker. You got to be both. You got to be a giver and you got to be a taker in order for your relationship to really grow. Because if you're always taking, you're robbing your partner, because your partner is always that giver. And that person, whether it's male or female, is giving you everything that they got, and you're just taking,
draining
without giving nothing back, and it causes an imbalance in the relationship. But if you are willing to give as much as you take, there's a happy medium there. But you got to be able to talk about those things and be able to express those things and be able to say, okay, and I don't mean taken as in, oh, you bought me this and you did this and that. It's an emotional give and take.
Straining.
You.
Yeah, Lord. Oh, jeez. But that's what it really is. Relationships are not 50-50. Nope. Stop the lie. A relationship is 100-100 because everybody got to give 100% of themselves every time to make a relationship work. We are out. We love you guys. This is the Colmon to Colmon podcast. We will be back. We weren't supposed to be 2 hours, but we were. Look, like, share, subscribe, leave your comments, things that you might want to hear from us. Again, we are not quote unquote love professionals, but we've been in this thing for a long time. And maybe we have some things that we can offer to help, people in relationships, young and old. We'll talk to you guys later. Again, my name is Shannon Coleman Sr., a.k.a. The Rev, and she is...
Tameka Mallory Coleman.
And we have our hostess with the mostest,
Big Brit.
So we love you guys, and we'll talk to you later.
Holla.
Losing. You think you feel it in your soul until you feel it's gonna go.